What do you got for us today?
Guys, doing my first ever cell phone video. This has never been done before. In fact, I'm out here on vacation with my fam. The kids are asleep. Everyone's asleep. And listen, I had something on my mind. So I said, hey, I got a cell phone. I think I could just upload it directly. And I got something that I really want to get your guys' opinion on.
Okay.
I tweeted out something today.
Yeah. What'd you tweet,
that was
buddy?
in effect saying something like famous men should not have random sex with anyone, especially fans and when alcohol's involved. And there was some people.
Okay, here's a question, actually. Here's a question. Fuck. I feel like these topics suck because like 60% of you guys are virgins, 1% of you are famous. So we're getting into like very obscure topics where it literally doesn't matter to any of you. But like, so when somebody says like you shouldn't fuck fans, okay, well why? Power dynamics. What power dynamic? Like, well, what is the power dynamic? Well, they look up to you. Okay, I guess, yeah, you could abuse that. Still, could be a stretch. Could also happen. But I don't know if that's enough on its face to be like, oh my God, like this is fucking red alert, right? But it's funny because people are like, okay, yeah, you shouldn't fuck fans. Well, who should you fuck then? Other people in industry? Because now if you're going to talk about power dynamics, aren't those power dynamics going to be a million times more problematic? Like if instead of fucking a bunch of fans, if I went and fucked a bunch of smaller streamers, what do you think more people would think is like fucked up? Because I think that people would be madder. Like let's say that it came out that I fucked, like 20 fans versus I fucked like 20 smaller female streamers. Like what are people going to be more upset about? I think they would actually be more upset about like the smaller streamer thing. Because they're like, well, no, that's actually power dynamics, right? I don't know, it's just kind of like, do you just like not fuck anybody? Here's the reality. This is so boring. These conversation topics are so boring. The reality is that just men suck when it comes to doing sex without being creepy and rapey. And it's all men, or all types of men, not every man. But it doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or not a celebrity or whatever. Men just like don't have a lot of guidance or information or understanding of like how to navigate these topics well. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or not. Celebrities are probably more likely to get caught than, or Renthal, the bus driver or whatever the fuck. But like, that's like, at the end of the day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why did I build another one there? At the end of the day, I think guys just kind of suck at this kind of stuff. But like when you hyperfixate on like celebrities and all that shit, you make it sound like it's a problem unique to them, but it's not. It's not really unique to them at all.
People that agreed, obviously, but there was a lot of people. I saw this comment, well, what's the point of becoming famous then? And that kind of begs the question, like, well, if the reason you're becoming famous is for the sole reason of having lots of random sex with women, that's going to be a problem.
Is it?
And listen, I'm saying this, man, I have friends who are being basically doing horrible things, right, and getting called out. And it's happening way too much. This is happening way.
You disagree with that? I don't know if you do some shit. Let's say that you go to the gym a lot and you do it because you want to get hot and fuck bitches. Like, is that like? I mean, as long as you're not raping anybody. I mean, if that's your goal, if you want to fuck people, is that really that big of a deal? Or what if you're like, I want to be a lawyer because then I can get a lot of money and I can fucking find some fine ass motherfuckers that I'm gonna fuck. That's why I want to be a lawyer. Like, I don't know. Is that? I mean, unless you're like fucking your clients, is that really a problem? Is that really a big deal? Is that really a bad thing? I don't know.
Too much. And I think to myself, how is it that there's so many men, famous men, who are still doing this shit despite knowing that that this is a problem, that it's going to come out, right? And that you can't fuck around. You can't make mistakes like that. And yet people are still out there being scumbags.
And yeah, but the problem again, I don't even know. The problem is that we don't even know if the Andrew Callahan guy was abusing his fame. He might have, because from every tweet that I saw, it just seemed like he was kind of like creepy and pushy, which is bad. But
He's
really?
not a raper.
Red shorts, black top.
What? Are you a fashion expert now or what?
I'm just saying, Mel.
Fine, stand up.
No, I'm just saying.
How does this not work? What do you mean? This is cute.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah. Is it not cute?
What is this?
It's shorts. What are you? Ouch! Don't do that.
Okay.
Why would you bite me?
Bye.
The fuck? What the hell?
And it just makes me think, like, if you're a famous guy, I hate to tell you, but I think the one night stands, I think it's got to be out.
It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Bruv, you fucked one girl in the past like 15 years. Why even like enter an opinion on this? Just shut the fuck up. You don't have to have an opinion on everything. You could also just not say anything. You could just shut the fuck up. It's so easy to just shut the fuck up. It's so easy. Go play some Factorio, bruv.
But is it easy to not be a raper?
Well, it depends on how hot the girl is.
And the reason I say that is to protect you from doing something horrible to somebody and doing something you'll regret.
It's also such stupid advice. Like, it's so funny because this motherfucker, I guarantee you, has probably been on at least one stream in his life where he's been talking about like abstinence-only education is stupid because you can't expect teenagers to be abstinent. Then turns around. If you're like a famous celebrity guy and there are like hot fucking women throwing themselves at you, like you have to say no, you can't fuck any of them because it's not good. Like, bro, what the fuck? You think this is realistic advice?
And it seems that there's a high enough percentage of women who are regretting these hookups, who feel coerced, who feel like they can be manipulated into doing something they don't want to do. And I just keep seeing the same story over and over and over again. And it's like, what are we going to do about this? Because you would think that something would be changing by now, but it's like the same headline over and over and over again. I think that famous men need to stop having random hookups. It's just a recipe for disaster and pain and hurt. And it's going to fuck your life up too, right? It's just not worth it. And so this comment comes up like, what's the point of becoming famous then? Well, then therein lies the problem. If you're becoming famous to sleep with a bunch of women, well, that used to be cool. And that used to be a reason to become famous. But now you can go ahead and do that, but it's going to come out and you're going to hurt people. And you're going to end up sleeping with people who were influenced by, who were either a fan of yours, who were too drunk.
It's not even like a good take. Like, influenced by people who were a fan of, yeah, I hope you want to fuck me if you're a fan of mine. Hell yeah, that's good. There's like nothing wrong with that. Like wanting to fuck somebody because they're a doctor or a lawyer because you think they're funny. Or it's like imagine there's like a comedian or something. It's like, oh yeah, like why'd you fuck that guy? I think he's really funny. That's abuse, honey. Like what the fuck do you mean? As long as it's not being taken advantage of. People get so hung up on red flags. They don't even actually know what improper behavior looks like anymore. They just think, I've said this a million times, people think a red flag is in and of itself something bad. That's not. Like this whole take of like, what if they want to fuck you just because they like you? Well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. How do you think it fucking works?
Who were influenced by your power and aura and just general...
That's every sexual interaction ever. Are people influenced by other people's auras and their powers? And this guy was super confident and I saw that he was like the head of the fucking football team. Or this guy was a fucking doctor. Or this guy's got a fuck ton of money. Or this guy seems really successful. Or this guy is super fucking hot or whatever. Like, people say this shit all the time. This is part of sexual, like, interactions.
Fame. And so... I feel like with fame and power, there needs to be some giving up of responsibility, or there needs to be some more acceptance of responsibility. like with the power, with the money, with the fame, you have extra responsibility as a man to take extra care with your sexual partners because, listen, the truth is that women have been used and abused for a long fucking time. And it feels super weird that men are now having to be held accountable for what they're doing. And y'all, I guess, aren't ready for that. But I'm just saying, you're not going to get away. You don't get away with it anymore. So, like, this advice is as much for the men, you know, it's for the men to protect themselves and to protect the women. I'm saying you got to meet someone, get to know them a little bit, make sure that you're both sober and that you've got enthusiastic consent. Because it's just not worth it. I don't think a lot of these guys doing this necessarily want to be hurting people, right? I think they get caught up in the moment. I think they probably have a lot of regrets about how they acted.
He doesn't even know how these assaults even happen. Why am I listening to this? Oh God, it's so cringe. Like, and I'm not even trying to talk shit, by the way. Like, if you've been married for 20, 30 years, however the fuck long he's been with Hila or whatever, like, that's cool. That's great. That's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's cool. I'm not shitting on your relationship. I think it's super cool. But, like, you have no experience with hookup culture. I don't know if you've ever had experience with hookup culture or know anything about, like, these conversation topics. So why talk about it at all? Like, all you're doing is hurting the conversation. You're just, like, completely lost to sea. This is so stupid. I don't know why. It's like, Christ. Vosh has slightly better takes, because I think at least he fucks people, but he was a virgin before Hila? Is that actually true? If that's true, then he definitely shouldn't have any fucking opinion on any of this shit. Am I crazy, or is enthusiastic consent dumb? Enthusiastic consent sounds dumb because of the way it's described, but enthusiastic consent is what you should always be looking for. All enthusiastic consent means is you know the person wants to fuck. You're not playing a guessing game. You're not doing dumb shit. Like, you know, they really want to, like, they genuinely really want to fuck. Like, you ask somebody, like, hey, what do you want to do afterwards? Do you want to, like, before you finish, it's like, I want to go back to your place. Like, okay, cool, right? Like, that's like enthusiastic consent. It's not like, do you want to do this? Like, oh, I don't know. It's like, well, maybe we could try that. And like, well, do you want to drink at least? Like, that's like, that's the difference between enthusiastic consent. Enthusiastic consent isn't like they're screaming, like, oh yeah, mom, put your dick in me. Oh, like.
What the fuck was that accent?
All right, bye. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.